Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to another video and another case. Today's case takes us to the United States of America, specifically to the states of Georgia. The events happened at the end of 2018. I found a call that would turn a hotel upside down after a horrific crime. At first, it seems like an easy case. The culprit was obvious, but little by little, as police dug deeper, they discovered that the case was much more complicated than they thought, and it would take them all the way back to 2011. I will not make this too long or spoil the story if you are reading. Let's begin. So, the crime on December 10, 2018, around 6:30 in the evening, the manager of a small hotel called the police, panicking and trembling. He said, "I am seeing something in front of me that my mind can't even process." He explained that near room 114 he heard screaming. When he looked through the window from his office, he saw a woman lying on the ground, bleeding heavily, and a man dressing in black with a cap walking slowly away from her. He was not sure if the man was injured too, or whether there had been a gun or a knife involved, but he said, "It's a disaster, something terrible has happened here." Police immediately called an ambulance and rushed to the scene. They arrived before the paramedics did. One female officer went to check the victim. The woman was lying on the ground, stabbed many times, bleeding profusely. Even by just looking, it was clear she had over 30 stab wounds. The killer definitely hated her and wanted revenge. The officer kneeled beside her, held her hand, and tried to keep her talking, not only to keep her conscious, but also to get any possible information. The paramedic said her chance of survival were extremely low. The wounded woman managed to whisper her name, Gosaline, 34 years old. The officer asked her, "Who did this to you?" And she said one word, "Joyce." The shocked officer, because the manager had said the person who left the scene was a man, but Joyce sounded like a woman's name. Gosaline explained, "Joyce is my wife. They were both women, a married lesbian couple." The storyteller explained here, "I'm just telling you the case as it happened. I'm not promoting anything. They were married legally. That's part of the story, where we agree with it or not." Anyway, Gosaline said that Joyce was the one who stabbed her. The investigation begins. The ambulance arrived and crashed Gosaline to the hospital, while another police team started investigating the hotel room. Room 114 was a disaster, like a war zone. The bed flipped, broken dishes, chicken and leftover everywhere, and blood all over the room. Police started talking. Witnesses' statements One witness was saying in the room directly above the crime scene, he said he heard screaming, went to the check and realized it was coming from below. He knocked on the door, and after about 2 minutes of silence, the door opened. Gasoline opened it and collapsed on the floor. Right after a person dressed in black came out from a far away. The manager thought it was a man, but in reality it was Joyce. She had short hair and was dressed like a man. Another witness said he saw a woman covered in blood running barefoot through the parking lot and getting into the black Nissan before speeding away. Police confirmed that they found bloody footprints leading to the park lot because there weren't many roads in or out of the area. They quickly issued an alert for a black Nissan. After 15 minutes later, highway power officials spotted a car machine. The description speeding erratically, swerving between lines. They chased her. Chase realized she was being followed, pretended to pull over, but suddenly sped up again. Eventually, one of the police cars hit the back of their vehicle, causing it to spin out of control and stop. When she got out, she was holding a gun, threatening the officer. They shot her in the arms and legs, disabling her. She was taken to the hospital in a critical condition. Meanwhile, the ambulance carrying Gasoline arrived at the hospital, but she died before arrival. She had over 34 stab wound. The doctor said she was already taking her last breath when they find her. Both the victim and the suspect were now in the hospital, one dead, the other barely alive. Police needed to know the motive behind this. They discovered that in August 2018, a few months earlier, Kazulin had filed a police report against Joyce, accusing her of harassment and threats and saying she no longer wanted to see her. The reports denied how they had met in bar, fallen in love, and legally married, but over time Joyce began cheating. When Gasoline found out, she decided to divorce her. Joyce begged her not to, but Gasoline was done. She moved away to start a new life, but eventually returned to live with her parents. Even then, Joyce kept calling and messaging, beginning to forgive until one night she said she had nowhere to stay and wanted to sleep at her parents' house. At the first, Gasoline refused, but Joyce insisted, claiming she'd leave early in the morning so her parents would not notice. Eventually, Gasoline agreed. They spent the night together, and in the morning, Gasoline told her clearly, I don't want this relationship anymore. It's over. Joyce left but stored her passport on the way out. That's why Gasoline went to the police. She wanted her passport back and wanted Joyce to leave her alone. Joyce kept threatening her, saying she would hurt her or her family. Police, however, didn't take the threat seriously. Later, when the murder happened, they realized this was exactly what Gasoline had feared. While digging into Joyce's background, police discovered something shocking. In 2011, another woman linked to Joyce had disappeared. Her name was Chandel. Back then, Joyce had also been in a romantic relationship with Chandler. The relationship was violent. Chandler had even filed a report against Joyce, saying that Joyce had threatened her and stolen furniture from her shared apartment. A few months later, Chandler disappeared. Police had questioned Joyce, but she did, and she said that she was with her another woman that day, and the other woman confirmed her story. That woman was Gosaline. Because of the alibi, Joyce was cleared of suspicious and Chandler case went cold. But now, years later, a new witness comes forward. Katie, Joyce's most recent girlfriend. Katie told police that Joyce had once confessed to killing Chandler, saying she had breakups and couldn't start and stand being left. Joyce told her that she and Gosaline had actually killed Chandler together. They had kidnapped her for 2 days and then buried her body deep in forest, a place that has never been found. Carrie said that Joyce used a brag. I decided when a relationship starts, and then the end. Joyce's trial for Gosaline's murder took place in 2021. She admitted killing her wife, saying she had lost control. She was sentenced to life in prison with a chance of parole after 18 years. Then in 2023, the case of Charlotte's disappearance was reopened. Police had an audio recording where Joyce confessed to Carey. The court considered it strong evidence even though the body was never found. Joyce was again convicted for the first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. When asked to reveal which Chandler's body was buried, she refused. She said coldly, "It's none of your business whether I killed her or not. I am not telling you where she is." Police searched many forests in Georgia but never found her remains. And that's the end of today's case. What do you think about this story? Let me know your opinions in the comments. We will meet again, going in another video and another case. Goodbye and thank you for watching.